So we can see here how we can trigger this node, and we are sending a quick response to our Slack channel as soon as the Claude Sonnet creates it. So let's go, YouTube demo channel, optional response, link here, links insertion is the name of the campaign, perfect. In the response, hi Jack, thanks for the reply and for keeping the door open. I totally get that timing isn't always right. If anything changes down the road, fantastic. So this is just great. This is great. So let's see how we build it. Hello again, this is Javier Luengo. I'm the CEO of SmarterPath, an AI automation agency focused on building customer support and lead generation solutions for businesses. Today, we're going to be doing a build that's for internal operations of the company, basically to help automate the process of lead generation through cold outbound via email. Specifically, we're going to do it building it on SmartLead, which is the platform that we use for our cold generation systems. So let's go into the build and I'll explain exactly how we go about this. So as always, we will start with the empty N8N canvas, and we're going to add here a webhook because this is how we connect to SmartLead. So here we'll actually go into the webhook settings here, and we're going to add a webhook, although we will not be able to actually add it. So let's say N8N SmartLead automation. And then here we need to add the webhook URL that we have here. So we're going to change it to SmartLead automation as well. And we are going to take the production one, copy it, bring it here. It's at an account level, and we are going to trigger it on email reply. The thing here, though, is that let's actually do this and respond immediately. There we go. That's fine. So let's save it and let's make it active. Got it. So now if we test it, we should actually have an execution that worked here. So we have this. We sent the test webhook. Event sent successfully. So let's see again. What is going on? It should be a post, I believe. So let's save it. And let's send test to webhook again. And let's see if now it worked. There we go, yes. So now we have this, and we have like all of the information from the test webhook. So we have here the webhook name, which is test, completed. The email, it's a test, getsmartly.com. And everything is just a test, right? So even like the reply message, the send message, everything, support test. The campaign name is link insertion, campaign ID is 100. So everything is testing data. And now the thing is, if we try to add it, it's going to say that we have a conflict with this other one because it is triggered on the same event, which is an email reply. So we're going to cancel this and just actually use this one. So let's just take this URL here, and we're going to take this, and this is what we're going to be using. So let's close this here, bring it to here, and we're going to change this to that, save it, and now let's actually do another send test to webhook. And let's see if we got another one. Yes, we just got another one right now. Perfect. And it should be the exact same as before. So this is working perfectly. So let's close this. And now we have this part set up. So now what we want to do is have a configuration that we will listen to in order to be able to respond to the messages. Okay. So we're going to connect to a sheet node. And we are going to get rows in sheet. And here we are going to be doing this. So we'll do it from ID, and we'll take this one, which is the sheet that we're going to be using, which we'll explain quickly in a second. And we're taking from list. Let's choose, could not load. Oh, wrong authentication there. Now we should be able to. So this is campaign config, which is the one that we want to use. And we want to filter based on the campaign name. and this should be execute previous notes. We can't execute the previous notes actually, so instead of that, let's go into executions, copy to editor. So now we have this information here, and we can actually bring it in. So we had the campaign name here. So this is what we wanted the campaign name to be, link insertion. So that's what we will be going after, and add filter as well. We can even go with campaign ID, which we also have right here. So if we get a match on both of them, we should be able to have a proper match from our sheet. So let's go into the sheet. What we have here, let's make this a bit bigger, is a campaign name, campaign ID, what the customer is, the customer description, campaign context, and customer calendar. So we will have a customer config here. So whenever we have a new campaign for one customer, we don't need to rewrite the customer description or their calendar link. Here we have this company, Global Talent Connections, which we have determined that it is a company that outsources admin, marketing, software development, business analytics, etc., related talent for 900 euros per month in this case. And here we would have to add their Calendly or their calendar link. And here we have some VLOOKUPs to make sure that we have the customer description and their calendar. And then we have here a quick description of the campaign that we're doing. So it's a campaign to small e-commerce company leaders in Spain to offer our services. Good. So we have here the link insertion and the campaign ID, which should be 100 in this case. So we get a match on this row. It depends on which campaign we're actually working with, right? So if we now look for a match here, workflow's already running. So let's test it here. So we get a match, which is link insertion 100, global talent connections, and we have everything else, okay? So now from this, we can actually go into the agent that will actually help us respond to this. So we'll do it with a basic LLM chain, where we will define below the prompt that we need. We will require a specific output in this case. And we will add here quickly before we go into the prompt, we want to use Claude 4.4 Sonnet, which is the one that I like best when it comes to writing copy, basically. Let's lower the temperature a bit so that it doesn't go all over the place. And let's add here the output parser. And here what we want to have for the output parser is a structure, basically, so that we can then bring it into either Smartly directly or into Slack initially to test our results. We don't need this. So this should be the output that we get. So here, let's actually write the prompt that we're going to be using here. And we'll do it using Markdown format to make sure that we work well. So it's an expression. So let's go here so we can see better. So role and objective. First thing that we want to add, you are a polite, sharp, and naturally conversational sales assistant for, and here we'll take the customer name, answering cold email replies, and then here we'll specify only from prospects who may be interested. Your goal is to respond in the same language as the prospect. Sound 100% human and unscripted. And Claude Sonnet is good for this because it's smart enough to actually do this kind of thing. Otherwise, with less intelligent models, we would have a harder time. So here we will have a smart enough AI that actually can handle these instructions in a less obvious way, so that the prospect can't see that we are actually the ones, we have an AI doing this, basically. So we'll encourage the prospect to book a meeting using the provided calendar link. The provided calendar link. And here we could actually even directly add it here. So answer any specific questions they asked when possible. Then redirect unknown questions gracefully without deflecting or over promising, and without saying let's talk in a call. Let's actually bold in this. Let's talk in a call as the only answer. But this is actually one thing that I've seen people do to me, and it's one of the things that pisses me off the most. So let's not do it to other people. Whenever they are just wanting you to go into a call to talk with them, and that's the only thing they care about, and they will not give you information, so then you'll end up wasting your time in that call or rejecting them. So let's actually be much more reasonable, try to add value through the conversation whenever we can. And then if they want to have a call, then let's actually book it with them. But let's not be super forceful with having them go to a call, but let's add value first and then see if they're interested. So here we're giving the inputs that we are going to be providing. So so the last email our company sent, we have this from the webhook. So this would be send message, and we want to use the text, not the HTML. So then we have here the prospect's reply then. So here, which is the reply, obviously, reply received from the prospect, which we also have from right here in the webhook. So the text again, we don't want to use the HTML because that's overly complicated. And then we're going to be bringing in the information that we added into the Google Sheet from the company and the campaign. So company context here, containing a summary of what our company does, of what your company does, actually, since the AI is the sales agent, the value we offer, and the reason for reaching out. So here we're gonna add the company context from here, which is basically the customer description right here. Then the campaign context, which is quite similar. Forgot here an apostrophe thingy. So containing any additional information, additional context, campaign specific that is relevant. So here we will add here the campaign context, who we're sending it to, what the objective of the specific campaign is, anything of that nature. And finally, we will add here the calendar link. Calendar link containing a link to book a meeting with you. We already added it at the top, but it's not bad to have it twice. So let's go with that. So now we have the output format, which we're already covering in the output parser, but it's not bad to make sure that we do it already. So with this, we can actually make sure that we get the right output directly, and we double check with the output parser. So it must be short. So 3 to 5 sentences should be fine. What else do we want it to be? So we need it to be written in the same language as we already commented before as the prospect's reply. We've had emails that we get an automatic response in French sometimes, or in Spanish, or in English. So let's just respond always in the same language that we're being spoken to. So let's be human sounding, avoid sounding like a script or bot. And then here include the calendar link naturally. But don't push it aggressively. So what do we not want to do? Do not respond to. So we don't want to respond to out of the office replies. We don't want to respond to angry or harsh rejection emails. We also don't want to respond to messages that clearly say no without ambiguity, because these are basically the same as the angry or harsh rejection emails, just a bit more polite. And there's no chance that we're going to close those. Plus, we have a higher chance of them marking as a spam if we keep pushing when they've been clear about saying no. So we want to avoid that. So best practices. We want to mirror their tone. So casual, formal, etc. We want to thank them for replying. It's never bad to start with this quickly, and if appropriate, obviously. But it's good to start with a polite thing, and it makes the conversation a bit smoother afterwards as well. So let's do that, and then typo here. So reference what they wrote in a natural way. Repetition and mirroring us is generally a good technique. So if they asked a question, answered it briefly if you can. What else? If you can't say something like happy to dig into that further. Here's a link to book time with us so we can give you a proper answer. Do not respond to, okay. Never mention that you are an AI. You are a sales agent by the name of the email signature that we sent. Okay, now we'll add some examples, and this I'll copy and paste that I have written down here, just so that the AI knows how to manage things. So let's just copy and paste this and add it right now. So we have example 1 saying last email sent. We have here some information, prospect reply here, and it's actually, we sent it in English, they responded in Spanish. We have the company context, the calendar link, and we respond in Spanish, same as them. But here they responded in English, so we respond back in English, sending the link again in this case. This is cool. What kind of results have you gotten with other B2B sales teams? Fantastic. Good. And then here again, what does pricing look like? Pricing depends a bit on the use case and volume, but we're usually far cheaper than hiring someone for the same task. Fantastic. And then the link to the demo, to the discovery, or whatever we may have. So let's now add again the output format. So let's generate and output structured as a JSON as follows. So here we can actually go into the JSON formatter, and let's just get rid of this. We want to have basically a response. Let's remove all of this. And here we want to have your response basically. So let's format beautify. Let's remove this. There we go. So we can just copy this, add it right here. Perfect. And then a final note. Make sure your answer feels like something you'd send to a smart, busy person. Be helpful. Be concise. Don't oversell. Just sound like a real person offering real value. All right, so this looks good to me, I would say. So we can start testing this, and then we can see how we process this further. Right now, the issue we have is that we are sending the information that we have here, which is all the test information. So the response is not going to be very good. So let's just run it, but it's not going to be much to our liking, basically, because we have that issue, right? So what we have here is basically, I notice that the prospect's reply appears to be empty or contains only formatting text. Without a clear message from the prospect, I cannot generate an appropriate response. Please provide the actual prospect reply content. Okay, we may actually want to have something to handle this kind of response, so that we avoid having to handle it afterwards whenever we are actually directly responding in a smart lead. So how can we test this a bit better? We could, for example, just create this again and just hard code the information that's coming from here. So I don't want to write the whole thing again, but we could just take these two, copy and paste, and see how they run if we just hard code an actual message here. So let's see what we can have here. So instead of this, let's actually ask GPT to create a quick email for us. Create a quick cold email campaign email, and the prospect's response, who is not really interested, but it's not a hard no. Let's see what it provides us with. Okay, good. So, okay, let's do this, and let's just copy and paste it directly into the flow. So here, this is the message that we sent. And actually, this would be good if we have an enter here. So this is it, best, and this is me sending this. Hi, Jack. Let's do this. So let's just keep it between quotes. Best, Javier. Good. So then what is the response that we got? So hi, Javier. Best, Jack. Okay. So the response that we got was this. So we can just do this. Best, Jack. And Javier here. Good. I don't know why this is red, but anyways. And then the company context, this is fine. Let's actually see what we sent. I'll keep this short. I know this. Your team is scaling quickly. This works. And I believe we could help you do so for you cheaper and without adding more to your plate. Would you be open to a quick 15-minute call next week to explore this, even if it's not a fit? I'll make sure it's a productive use of your time. Best, Javier. Great. All right, this sounds good. And let's see what response we actually create for this. So let's run this. All right, we forgot to change this. Let's just hard code this as well. So link insertion and 100 were the ones. So link insertion and 100 here. Good. So let's execute this step again. And now let's execute this one and see what answers. Let's actually connect it to a trigger node, manual trigger right here. And let's just run this full flow much quicker. Execute workflow. And let's see what kind of response we create from this. So, hi Jack, thanks for the reply. I totally get it. Timing isn't always right. Just so you know what we do, we provide dedicated talent, admin, marketing, dev, analytics for $900 per month per person, which usually saves companies 60 to 70% versus local hires. If things change and you want to explore it, feel free to grab a time here. Calendar link or the like, which is obviously what we had here. So if we had changed this to something more like HTTPS, and we had the, well, basically calendly.com, then we would have sent that. So I quite like this email. It's sharp, it's to the point, it's quick, it's explaining what we do in more detail. So this is great output. So now we could connect this. So this would be with the webhook, but since we can't use it right now because we need to wait for an actual email to be sent, let's just keep going with this for now. And then here we can actually, for example, send a Slack message to actually post message, send a message. So we can actually send a message to a channel, for example, with the output that we got from the email. We could even actually have what they responded or anything like that, but let's keep it simple. So send message to chat. Dot AI, app smart lead dot AI, and optional response, JSON body campaign name. Okay, this is fine. Actually, we should not have access to this. So campaign name is actually, let's get it from here instead. Campaign name, link insertion. Good. And the response is actually what we just got. So if we send this, we get a true, and we actually just sent this response to our Slack channel. Now we can check it, and we can actually start this process by basically going into Slack and sending the messages there. If we like them, we can just copy and paste them into the smart lead, where we are actually linking at the top. So the channel we can link here the specific conversation that this is coming from, and from that we can just do it very quickly. If we are liking the outputs that we are getting, and we see that we don't have to edit anything in them, we can eventually go into the API documentation from SmartLead to reply to a lead from master inbox via API. So this is actually something we will build in a coming video where we actually do the full end-to-end process so that it's fully automated. For now, we just automated the response generation, so we can quickly copy and paste it. But once we polish the prompt and we see that everything is to our liking in the response that we're getting, we can fully automate it, so we don't have to even check anymore the messages that we are sending. So hope you liked this video and saw how easy it is to automate the responses for your cold email campaigns. If you liked the video and you watched until the end, feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, I am Javier from Smarter Path, and I hope to see you next week.